Hey everybody, this is Braden Smith, and I chose to do my presentation on Chaim Potok. So, I'm going to start out with giving you a little bit of a biography of his earlier life. So, he was born on February 17th of 1929 in Buffalo, New York, which is now known as part of the Bronx in New York. And he was the oldest of four children. And an interesting fact is that his parents were actually Jewish immigrants from Poland. So, because of that background, he had received an Orthodox Jewish blend of an education. So, when he was 16, he read Evelyn Waugh's novel Brideshead Revisited, which inspired him to become a writer. He loved the book and it sparked something within him. And so, shortly after that, he began writing his own fiction and submitting those works to some of the local magazines. That was the beginning of his writing career. Later, in 1949, Yeshiva University found interest in his literature and his little pieces that he had been submitting to those magazines and began publishing them in the paper, in their university's paper. So he ended up being able to attend Yeshiva University, and he graduated as summa cum laude with a BA in a bachelor's degree in English literature in 1950. So, on June 8th of 1958, he found and married he found before that, but married his wife, Adana Sarah Mosevitsky, and together they had three children. So Potok had studied 4 years at the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, and soon after that, he was ordained as a conservative rabbi. And also, he had served in Korea as a military chaplain from 1955 through 1957. And he described his time in Korea as a very transformative experience, as he learned many lessons and found many new meanings to his life while he was there. He thought it was interesting also while there to see the devoutness of non-Jewish people because he had grown up in a very kind of a closed atmosphere where the most of the people that he knew were Jewish, kind of like as we have read in The Chosen. But then he was exposed to people of all different types of beliefs and religions while in the military, and that kind of opened his eyes a little bit to the fact of that there is so much diversity around. Anyways, when he returned, then he studied at the University of Judaism in Los Angeles, and he became a director of a Jewish summer camp that was nearby. And a year later, he began he began his graduate studies in the University of Pennsylvania. In 1964, later, he moved to Brooklyn, and he received a doctorate in philosophy from the University of Pennsylvania. So, with those backgrounds and that amazing education that he was able to obtain, and also his inspiration for writing literature, he was able to write many books. Many of them have been very popular and known as a widespread classic, namely The Chosen, which was written in 1967. And I mean, there are too many books for me to list them all, but I'm just going to go through some of the main ones that he wrote, some of the more successful ones. First of all, The Chosen. Second of all, he wrote a sequel to that, which was called The Promise, and he released that 2 years later. And then a third book called My Name is Asher Lev, which was written and published in 1972. And then The Wanderings, or His History of the Jews, which to me would seem a very interesting book. It's something that I want to look into. But that was written in 1978. Then The Book of Lights, 1981. Davida's Harp in 1985, and the Gift of Asher Lev in 1990, which was a sequel to My Name is Asher Lev. So, he has been very successful through those, especially through his work, The Chosen. And another interesting fact I found on him is, aside from literature, Chaim Potok has also written some not so well known plays, but he had quite a bit of diversity in his writing and his abilities in that area of life. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation, and here are my sources.